episode 409 of Global from Asia, and we are at a villa in Phuket. What's up, guys? All right.
Welcome to the Global from Asia podcast, where the daunting process of running an international business is broken down into straight up actionable advice. And now, your host, Michael Michelini.
We got Chris Rawlings. I recorded the interview last night in the pool. So this show will be in the pool. I'll show you the pool. And I never did a podcast recording in a pool, have you? So it's right here. When I did it, I put the microphone here and my computer here, and I'm sitting here. But at night you can't see. At night you can't see the ocean. But you can see the pool is all lit up. And we're talking about hacks and strategies for your PPC and listing optimization. Actually got some questions from them during this few days here, which I asked to Chris. He'll also be a speaker at the Cross Border Summit. His first time really in Thailand besides a layover, he said. So I'm really excited. Chris will be coming out to Chiang Mai, Thailand, November 16th and 17th to be one of our main speakers, also hosting a mastermind. He also shares that he's doing an online PPC challenge that you can learn more about during the interview, and a lot more fun stuff. So I hope you get some ideas, some strategies. Episode 409 of Global from Asia. Let's do this. All right, we have Tommy, the sales manager at Cross Better Logistics. How are you, Tommy?
Hi, everyone.
We just got to meet here in Shenzhen, China. It's great. They support the show at Global from Asia, and we also use them ourselves for many of our brands and e-commerce businesses. And Tommy really cares. They always are trying to help us save money. You have some products you keep for us in China. You have some products you keep for us in the U.S. warehouse, and I really appreciate that. And you can talk to this seller, right? You can give them your advice. You work with many Chinese sellers a lot, right? And you can help the sellers understand more.
Yeah, we are very professional for the shipment to USA and Canada. Also, we have warehouse in USA and Canada. We can help our factories, suppliers, sellers for the shipment.
Yes.
Yeah, for the e-commerce business.
Yep, and you even keep stuff in China too. So sometimes if you have the limitations of sending too much to Amazon, you can keep it here in China with Cross Better, or you can send, of course, to the U.S. warehouse. They have many different options, and they're always trying their best to find out what's the best solution for you. So Definitely talk to Tommy, talk to Cross Better, and thank you for your support of the community.
Yes, we have good pricing and better service.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, we are here. Keep things fun. I think you're also in Cyprus by the ocean, right, Chris?
Yes.
You said. And I'm in not the ocean, but I'm in Phuket, Thailand, at a villa. And the ocean is behind me, but it's just evening here, so you can't see the ocean. But I figured I'd do the recording right here. So, Chris, it's always a pleasure to have you back on the show. We've been at least 2 or 3 times now on Global from Asia. So thanks for taking your time to share with us. You're the founder at Sophie Society. Also, people, always enjoy your content on various other channels you've been on too, and our show and others, sharing really a lot of good insights about, PPC, which you're really great at. You also have a competition coming up, which we'll talk about. Also, listing optimization and branding and growth of your brands. So without further ado, thanks for making it here, Chris.
Yeah, dude, I'm glad to be here. And those of you guys who are listening but not watching, Mike is literally styling in from his infinity pool. He's just living the life out there. It's awesome. I
flamingo bathing suit on too, so why not?
I noticed that. Yeah,
man.
I mean, YOLO.
YOLO, dude, YOLO. But yeah, I mean, Amazon PPC management, listing optimization is always fun to talk about. I remember, you also did some great content with Gary at a 7-figure seller summit and others like Augustus, Orange Click, have done some great content with him. And also earlier this year, we were talking about AI at our channel. Look, there's a praying mantis, dude, right there. He's checking out the show. Whoa, he's coming at me. Hey, buddy.
We got a live fan, huh?
Yeah, he's like jumping at me. So, wow, seriously, man, I don't. He's coming
Is he
right up.
mad dogging you? He's mad dogging you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
He's challenging you.
He just jumped past my laptop. Seriously. Anyway, I think he.
Don't make me be the guy that watches you die on camera, bro. You better. You better. Because praying mantises have like poison, but they can't actually get it into you, right? They like poison their prey, but I
Oh,
think they
really?
can't get it. They can't bite a person because their like mouth isn't like the right like
Oh,
angle or whatever. So I don't
yeah.
think it could actually hurt you, but they do
I didn't
poison
know
your
that.
prey.
All right. Well, we're keeping it fun
It's
today.
pretty metal.
So yeah, I think we're gonna talk, hacks and managements, even some. So we're having this little. I'm at this villa with some other sellers. We've been here a few days, and we even talked about some of your contents as well. So we can give some insights from what we've learned from you and some follow up questions. But before we get into that, Chris, what
Cool.
what have you been up to? It's we're getting towards Q3, Q4, three. How are things been going just in general this year?
It's actually been a wild year for us. It's been pretty crazy. So I'm running Sophie Society and I'm also a mentor in Titan Network. So I've been
Okay.
going to so many Amazon events this year. I just came back
Wow.
from Baltic Seller Fest, which was in Lithuania. Before that, I was in which was Augustus,
Yeah,
Orange
I
Cliff.
guess this is great.
Um, yeah, I also went to his European Seller Summit or his Seller Summit in Prague.
Yeah,
Uh,
great.
but I also went to Prosper this year and a bunch of private masterminds, all around the world. And
Sweet.
it's been a heavy year. But yeah, it's going like we were talking about before we started recording. There's so many like new things happening right now in the Amazon selling space. I think it was even just in at least the past 2 weeks, where Amazon listings just changed to not show
Yeah.
the actual star icons.
Yep,
So
exactly.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, so many changes, and especially inside PPC. It's funny, like we have this internal mastermind in Sophie because we manage a lot of brands all at once. So we all of our senior PPC strategists and me and the head of the team come together to do a weekly mastermind. We go super deep in like what we're seeing in the accounts and accounts that are having challenges and accounts that are crushing it, and we share how the win like played out. And it's funny, like we were talking, like over the past year, like so much has changed. There's been so many capabilities that came out and so many things that we like added to our repertoire. And that's
Well,
kind of why we started running this event that you mentioned, the
yeah.
challenge,
Yeah,
because
maybe.
like,
I'd love
yeah,
to
we
hear more
realized we
about
had a
that.
lot to share. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, this is the year. I mean, some people thought we were maybe it was, maybe we can start off with that. Some people even we were chatting about that earlier this year. Was AI going to just kill like agencies or services, with everything's going to be auto outputted by a software. You don't need humans or experts anymore. I mean, seems like that's not the case. It seems like.
Yeah. It's interesting because like, so I'm really into the science of complexity and chaos theory. This is like a fast emerging science of complex systems, and they study everything from like how a city evolves and how like a city itself has its own sort of city consciousness with its own city goals and its own city like strategies, the same way an anthill, kind of an ant colony, like operates as one, even though it's like a collection of individual units. And it applies to economies. And it's funny because so I majored in physics when I was in school, and I've always been, concerned with the nature of reality.
Yeah.
And complexity theory is like the science of the nature of the reality of living systems. So it's funny because coming from that perspective of, I'm not a practicing, scientist. I'm not submitting like research papers into articles or anything like that, but that's what I studied and that's what I'm passionate about. So looking at this from sort of my passion lens versus my business guy, effectiveness lens of like how the system plays out.
Okay.
This same thing basically happened in like stock trading when algorithmic black box trading started. And it was this was decades ago that, there was good enough algorithms to trade better than humans on certain scales. like especially the micro scale. It was like the early 2000s that this really like started to hit. And it was the same kind of reaction of like, okay, well, there it goes. Like, there are no more stockbrokers anymore, no more traders, not even any more firms with people in them. It's just going to be like whoever has the best algorithm and people, programming their algorithms. And, decades have passed, and that's not exactly how it played out, So how it played out is that there's certain elements of the ecosystem that the AI is able to, certain needs of the system that the AI is able to best do that humans are not as good at.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually comes down to like the second by second, like micro trading and trading on the news very quickly, where you need like a microsecond response time and things of that nature. But the end of the day, the system that it's even trading in is a system made of human minds. So if human minds are the ones that are actually creating this system, because it's people that determine they want to buy or they want to sell something, right? People can have wallets. Machines can't have their own wallets, right? They can't vote, at least now. They're not, they're not like, they don't have their own independent desires, independent of the person controlling it, right? So since it comes down to human psychology, there's always an element of human beings in the system. And so it didn't play out the way people thought, where like there'd be no more human traders, all trades are going to be done by robots. It's actually not like that. Like I still trade in my Robinhood account, and I actually do quite well, by making long-term decisions and assessments based on what I feel are cultural trends and things of that nature. So I think it's actually the same thing in our domain. So you're right. Like there are all these conversations going of like, is AI going to replace like all agencies and services? And I think what it's going to do is replace some of the functions that are done by brand owners, agencies, and service providers, but it doesn't replace them. It in fact just makes them more effective if they embrace it. So we've already had like, AI PPC tools on the market for a while. Quartile is one of them. And I mean, there's a bunch of them, that just do black box trading. And what it really comes down to is, first of all, that paradigm is only like applicable to a certain set of brands that are made for that need, And then second of all, a person actually has to determine how to configure the algorithm in the first place to meet the brand's goals. So yeah, I think all it's going to do is make us all more effective.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think, or the highest impact, right? You said chaos theory. You made me think. I just recently watched the Jurassic Park with my kids, going to old school, but
yeah,
where the doctor,
yep.
I forget his name, he talks about chaos theory and nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way.
Nature finds a way. So,
yep.
But it's yeah, I would agree. I mean, I think we have to do that highest impact, highest leveraged work as a human. And one thing I've seen with AI is it's almost scary, but the data entry, the kind of repetitive work people I used to have, sometimes either internal or external, you pay to like scrape data or, do some data entry kind of work or basic work. That stuff's getting replaced, but the high brain power, creative work is what I think will be very hard. I think AI will always need that human's creativity.
Yeah, totally. Until we get to the point where like we have autonomous AI that, everyone perceives as having like feelings and their own goals and emotions and rights and things like that. That's a whole different reality we're talking about once we step into that world.
Yeah. We'll get there another podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
So, some of these guys in at this villa, they're actually out, they're down in Patong. I don't know if you know Phuket or not, but they're down in the bars.
Nice.
I'm here doing a podcast in the pool, but they said they saw one of your shows where you were talking about using drone. Even I don't, they said you were using drones for videos for Amazon. Did I get that correct?
That's the kind of part of a larger kind of theme that we were talking about. It wasn't specifically drone related. It's more like A/B testing the videos that work the best, and it's really like, I guess I can't like screen share right now, but because it's a audio podcast, but I'll describe it with words. We recently at the little mastermind that we were doing here in Cyprus, we were looking through, our results to kind of determine, because one of our missions right now is to come up with like a broadly applicable formula for creative that kills on Amazon PPC. And because it's interesting, like Amazon is continuously, I think one of the trends that I was alluding to when we were talking about how so many things are changing on Amazon is Amazon's giving brands like more and more and more creative freedom. Whereas it used to be, you upload 9 images, you upload text, and then you can run ads, but you can't upload anything creative about it. We'll determine what the thumbnail looks like and all of that. All you determine is the math of what you're targeting and what bids you're going to put in place, right? So it was like it left us zero room to actually have like X factors or competitive advantages. It was literally just Amazon letting the market play out on its own. And as time's gone on, it's Amazon is giving us brands like more and more creative freedom. And now we can upload, a whole A+ content and a whole brand story module. And in Amazon PPC, we can upload custom video ads and sponsored brands. Last summer, they released the ability to upload custom video ads and sponsored display. You can upload custom image ads and sponsored brands. You can upload custom image ads and sponsored display and custom headlines as well. And so the trend is, and also Amazon Posts and Amazon Live, the trend is letting brands express themselves in new creative ways, which it basically opens a door for the most creative brands to find that kind of slipstream to slip into that like hits a vein with shoppers and just works to like basically transcend the game of bids and targets. Like I could spend all day just negative exact matching keywords and upping the bid on keywords with a low A cost and decreasing the bid on keywords with a high A costs and trying new targets and doing more keyword research on Helium 10 and all that math stuff, right? But there's only so much you can do with that. That's actually where we were going before. We were talking about AI. It's like that's one of the ways it could help is like very fine adjustments. But if you want to have quantum leaps, you really have to like transcend that whole game. And one of the ways to do that is through creatives. And one of the things that came up in our mastermind that I was alluding to before is we're looking through, some of our best performing products and our best performing brands and our best performing campaigns. And it was really interesting because we're trying to pull principles out of it, right? We teach in this profitable PPC challenge event, how the framework for how to do PPC. We publish a lot of content on like YouTube and in our email blasts and LinkedIn articles and things like that. So we're always trying to pull out principles for things that are working right now in the real world. And sometimes it's really surprising. Like one of the things that we saw was that we were looking at video ads that perform well. And we pulled up a video ad that was constantly bringing in sales day after day at like a 13% ACoS. And it was not what you'd expect. There was zero production cost on this video. It didn't even look very good. It was like grainy and had a low frame rate and zero cuts. It was just one continuous shot.
Wow.
Looked like it was filmed on a phone. It wasn't. We know that because we know that it's the brand owner that's partnered with us. And all it was showing the product being used. And this particular product is a product that you use to sift sand to find like treasures in the sand. It's a continuous shot of showing the product being used with some background music and some text that explains the benefits of the product and some of the most unique selling propositions of the product, along with their matching features. And that was it. Wow. And it's just bringing in daily sales day after day, 13% ACoS over, time and time again, predictably, and it's just a winner. And so we're like, wow, what's the lesson to be pulled out of that? But it's not always what you'd expect.
Yeah, so I think maybe so they said, like, are you using professional, like, I think that's where they got that part. I was having a meeting with these guys and they said, is a UGC better? Like looking like it's not a professional studio production, because everybody thinks like you gotta look like high end, like first rate, like production level. But like you're just saying, like this actually wasn't UGC, like it's kind of what I understand you say. But it was
similar though. It was UGC type content.
Yeah,
user
UGC
generated
type.
content style. So it was like very raw and very like in the weeds. So that's one example that came up in this mastermind. But actually, a lot of times, what works really well is just a storyboard that goes through the primary use cases of the product with some type of like what we call X factor shots, where they're like either slow mo or super zoomed in with really high definition, or like, a very, like dramatic lighting. And then following that up with visual displays of the unique selling propositions of the product that make it stand out and its primary benefits with text on it. That's literally like our formula for like what we predictably produce to perform results. But we're looking at the outliers, and it definitely is the case that UGC type videos can perform really, really well. And sometimes they just connect better to the shopper. So yeah, it's like it really comes down to A/B testing. And that was one of the like primary insights that came out of our mastermind here as well, is that there's coming at the game of PPC, especially if since we're on this topic of custom creative, coming at the game of custom creative, whether you're in sponsored brands or sponsored display, and just trying a creative is not a very good strategy because it has a very low probability of being the winner. And it's really worth trying a lot, because once you get a winner, you could just keep riding it for a very long time. Sometimes you have an asset that just keeps producing lean sales like for years.
Yeah.
And you just have to find it. And the way to do it is split testing. So the what works for us is uploading a family of creatives and then just monitoring them over time. And you have to come up with an initial hypothesis in the beginning and go off some basic formulas like the one I was just talking about, the video formula, or try, a couple of UGC type videos. And same with the custom images. We had an example where we were doing sponsored brand custom image ads, and we loaded 3 images, which I'd actually recommend loading more, but in this case, we loaded 3. I could not have told you which would perform better by looking at them. Literally, like looking at the 3, I don't know which one I would have voted for. But the funny thing is, it was night and day which one performed well. There were 2 that were complete losers, didn't produce many sales. Amazon actually stopped really sending them impressions because they were not performing well. They weren't getting, I think they got maybe a couple of sales over the few week period that we were testing them. And one of them crushed. It was like a low teens ACOS, daily consistent sales. Yeah, good click-through rate. It was just good from every perspective. And if we had tested just one of those other 2 images, or even both of them, we would have been like, sponsored brand image ads just don't work for this product. And then never would have lost out on that huge opportunity to like use creative to kind of transcend this game of bids and budgets and targets.
Okay. Yeah, sorry I didn't dig in earlier, but I want to go back to what you said. Like, yeah, I mean, it's just been a couple weeks ago that Amazon seems to be almost keep putting a disadvantage or to bigger established sellers with reviews, right? Like they're just a newer seller with less reviews with higher rating, looks better now because it's. Do you want to expand on that, or if you're even seeing anything so far from that update?
Yeah, it's a bit early for us to get data back from it yet. It's tough to see how this is really going to play out and impact our brands. But basically, so how it used to be is that like there were these thresholds that really, really mattered to a seller, because there were 5-star icons on the thumbnail that really you could really only be in one of 3 places. Either you had 4 stars, 4.5 stars, or 5 stars. There's really only the 3, because if you have anything below 4 stars, if you have 3.5 or 3 or 2.5, like that's a dead product and you're not going to be able to sell it. Really, I've seen very few cases where a star rating under 4 stars, like in the 3.5 domain, in terms of like the actual icons, was able to compete. So most of us are sitting with our products either at 4, 4.5, or 5 in terms of the star icon. And so there were these thresholds that really mattered, like getting to 4.3. 4.3 is where Amazon would show you that 4.5 star icon level. And so it's so funny because we had a whole protocol for internally for our own products and our own brands, like how to push up to that 4.3 level, and a little calculator to let us know how many more 5-star reviews we needed to get past the next threshold, whether it was 4.3 or past 4.7 to get the 5-star. And none of that matters anymore because Amazon doesn't show any, star icon. All it shows is like a image of a star, which is the same on every thumbnail. The rating out to 1 decimal, same as before. So it's just 4.2, 4.3, 4.4, 4.5, and the number of reviews. And on some listings, it's also showing percentage of reviews that are 4-star and up. And this is actually something that's being tested because you could see it in some browsers and some niches, but not in others. So it's something that's kind of being A/B tested by Amazon right now. But yeah, so it's kind of, I feel like it's a bit early to see, like, to say how it actually impacts different brands and how it changes the ecosystem. It's definitely going to have some change because it's like a major change in how shoppers experience search results.
Yeah.
Because search results look totally different now. But yeah, it more seems to more prioritize it makes shoppers have to read, basically. They can't just like look at the pictures of the icons anymore. They have to kind of see, they're perceiving it with a different part of their brain. They have to read the number 4.1 or 4.9. And it means that 2 products that would have looked the same before now are going to look different. Because before, the shopper's not really looking at the number of the star rating. They're looking at the icon of how many yellow stars they have. So one product that had 4.3 stars and one that had 4.5 stars, they look the same to the shopper. So if one of them had 5,000 reviews and the other had 3,000 reviews, then they're going to pick the 5,000 review one. Now, if one has 4.3 and one has 4.5, and the 4.3 is the one that has 5,000 reviews, and the 4.5 is the one that has 3,000 reviews, now they might actually be more likely to pick the one that has 3,000 reviews, less reviews, because the star rating, small changes in the star rating mean more to the shopper than what's perceived as small changes in the number of reviews. So it's interesting. I'm interested to see the actual numbers of how it plays out. We're in a unique position to do this because we manage so many brands.
Yeah.
So yeah, we might do like a meta analysis and maybe we'll publish it or something. I don't know.
That'd be awesome. Great, man. I think maybe a little bit more some hacks, and then we'll talk about your competition, also the summit coming up. Unless what are some tactics you've been seeing so far with, like you said, you manage so many brands and so much data. Is there any other?
Yeah. So one thing that we're getting super deep into is like fine tuning retargeting. So there's basically, like, the way we see it is there's 3 main ways to do retargeting on Amazon. There's sponsored display remarketing, where you could do purchase retargeting or views retargeting within sponsored display. There's DSP, which you get access to if you're doing high volumes or you use a seat from an agency like Sophie to get access to a DSP seat. But I'd say majority of brands don't have DSP access. And then there's another type of retargeting that we discovered inside our mastermind last year, which we call STEP campaigns, self-targeted product placement campaigns, which is actually inside sponsored products. And so, yeah, anyways, we've been working on all 3 of these retargeting styles to like go super deep on them. And we are getting really good results with retargeting. And so, yeah, I would say that's one thing that I think it's funny because most brands that come to partner with us to take over their PPC, they've never tried remarketing or retargeting of any kind, and they're kind of afraid of it. So actually, for everyone listening to this right now, I could give you one thing to do right now that would provide like an immediate ROI if you haven't already implemented it before you're hearing it now. That would provide like immediate value to your account. And basically what it does is add like a low drip of high profit sales to the account. It's not high volume, this retargeting setup I'm going to talk about, but it's very effective. we implement it on every single account we have, whether they're consumable, not consumable, high price, low price, like brand new or very established. And it's what I was mentioning before, the step campaigns.
Okay.
And the way it works is you set up a sponsored product campaign and you do ASIN targeting. And then you select one target to advertise, one product to advertise. And then inside the ASIN targeting setup, you select exact targeting. So there's two options, exact and expanded. You select exact, make sure that expanded is not selected. And then inside the target box, you put the same product that you're actually advertising as the target. So it's telling Amazon, advertise my product on that same product's listing. And what happens is Amazon won't show the ad on that same product's listing. So it's Amazon won't show ads for any products on the product's own listing. So what it does is it effectively retargets in real time shoppers who visited the listing and then went back to search results or clicked on to another product. So it's pretty cool. Basically, if a shopper comes onto your listing, they visit and then they decide to keep shopping in search results. After they visited your listing, even just moments after, your ad can start showing up in their feed. Okay. And so that's why this produces a low volume of high profit sales, because it's super high relevance traffic. There are people who were literally just on your listing moments ago. Whereas if you're trying to do views remarketing at sponsored display, the lowest look back period you could do is 7 days, and it goes all the way up to 90 days. You could do 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. This is like not days. We're talking like seconds, like moments. So it's super, super valuable. I'd recommend that anybody who's listening to this implement it on their brands.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. Always giving us the good stuff. And maybe we could dive into, your PPC challenge. You've been doing these before. You got one coming up. I know that's exciting. And then they'll give us a little teaser about the summit. You know, you're coming out to Chiang Mai in Thailand. So, but first, let's hear about your challenge coming up.
Yeah. Yeah. So we last year decided to host our first digital event. We called it the Profitable PPC Challenge. And it was in September of last year. And it went really well. It completely sold out. We capped the number of tickets for it because we have mentors in the program. So we keep an 8-to-1 participant to mentor ratio. And so we set the number of tickets and we arrange the mentors ahead of time so that we stick to that ratio. And our philosophy is basically like anybody that joins the event, they are a name, not a number. Like it's not like a webinar that you show up to where like the number of attendees goes from 231 to 232 when you join, and no one notices. This is like when you register, your registration comes through our system, and we have a team of mods that codes in your info and your name, and we study everyone before we even start the event. And so we have the database of everyone, and we segregate them into these private chats, and the mentors are then added to the chats, and all the mentors get to know the participants. And throughout the whole 5 days, you're in this private chat with these mentors with an 8-to-1 ratio. It's like, imagine that, like most masterminds, it's like 90-to-1. Like there's one mentor to 90 participants or something like that. This is 8-to-1. So not only do you learn all of these PPC frameworks and strategies and hear from us, boots on the ground, what's actually working now in the marketplace, and actually get a framework for how to apply it to your own brand by the end of the week, you also get your own problem solved by mentors who are doing it, that'll like record looms for you, record voice notes for you, like respond to your, you could upload screenshots and stuff. Like we're literally like diving deep. Cool. And it's crazy. It's like literally the level of like what you would expect to get in like a $10,000 mastermind for like the price of like sushi dinner. So it's pretty bonkers. And the only reason that we're able to do that economically is because some portion of and this is just me being transparent, some portion of the participants by the end realize like, oh, these guys actually know what they're doing. We'll partner with them to take over our PPC, and then we become partners in success. So that's why like we make $0 off of this event, because we're literally selling it like for less than the cost of putting it on. But we do it because we know that, first of all, we could provide a lot of value to a lot of brands that really need it. And that some portion of those brands, are going to decide to partner with us, and then we could, blow up more brands together.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
September 18th.
September 18th. So that's the deadline for, just so we make sure people know. And where can they go to get that? And we'll of course link it up on the show notes, but just for people listening.
Yeah. So it's ppcchallenge.sophiesociety.com. I definitely check the show notes because it'll probably be hard to remember that. But yeah, it's ppcchallenge.sophiesociety.com, or you could find me on Instagram. I'm Hippie Mogul, and it's the only link in my profile. So that's an easy one to remember. Hippie Mogul.
Nice. Hippie Mogul.
HIPPIEMOGUL.
Okay, great. That's a cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then, I think before we wrap up, of course, you're coming out to Chiang Mai. Am I right to say, did we say your first time to Thailand? No, you've been here before, right? Or am I?
Well, so I've technically been there for like 36 hours. I didn't really get to spend any time in Thailand. So I consider it my first time. And I'm really, really excited. I spent a good amount of time in Vietnam and other places in Eastern Asia, but I've never really spent a lot of time in Thailand. And I'm actually really, really excited, bro. I really am excited for this. I can't wait.
It's hard to believe you haven't been out here before. So it's great. Yeah, I'm really happy to have you come out November. The official event 16th, 17th. We'll also have like a smaller mastermind half-day event on the 15th for those that want that upgrade. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's intimate events. We really get to know each other, the attendees, as also the other speakers, and you'll be doing a presentation and connecting with people there. I'm super excited. It's also our first in-person larger event in Thailand, because we were doing them in China, as you know, before you came out in China way back before COVID. So first cross-border summit since 2019, 4 years. So getting it all.
Wow, dude.
Isn't it crazy?
So crazy.
Yeah.
I remember back in 2018 when we first got introduced.
Exactly. It came out. All right. Well, we covered a lot. I don't know how long I can sit in this pool either.
You're probably getting pruny, dude.
Yeah.
Turn it into a potato in there.
I know. I'm going to get out of here, but really happy to get you on. We'll link your PPC challenge on the show notes. Of course, sophiesociety.com, crossbordersummit.com for the event in November here. And lots of cool stuff. I mean, it's always, I always enjoy our talks and your sharing, and seeing your business evolve, and also the the industry. It's a fascinating time for sure, right? It's definitely not boring.
It is. So. It's an exciting time to be alive, dude. Yeah, it was great. Love doing this. I love that you dialed in from a pool. That was so baller, dude.
Well, I know.
Next time you got to warn me so that I can do the same. Because I had the ocean over here, I could have been in the water with you. I think when you jump out, I'm gonna jump in.
Okay, there we go. Deal. All right, Chris. Well, have a great day. Enjoy Cyprus.
All right, thanks, brother. Good chat.
And thank you to our sponsor, our returning sponsor, Mercury.com, online bank. Well, it's a real bank, but you can do it totally online for US. Our Blimp program participants are going through this as well. Thank you, Mercury. Travis is great there. He's been on our show. He's been in our events. We're going to have another event where we will have them attending as well. And if you want to get a little bonus for you and us, if you sign up and do some special circumstances, you can go to globalfromasia.com/Mercury. I also have a video tutorial that we use even for the Blimp people. I use the same exact video to learn how to use it. I hope you can check it out. Totally free. Why not? See you there. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Again, here's the pool. That was fun. I think you're still recovering. You're tired?
Tired a little bit, but I'm feeling pretty good, all things considered.
Great. Yeah, it was intensely compact, like 3 or 4 days. Flew by, man.
It really did.
So we're checking out right now.
Yeah.
You're going to the water park after this?
I think we're going to do the water park, and
great. I might miss that one, unfortunately. But really, thanks again for having.
Yeah, man, of course.
Yeah, we got the mountains on this side.
Beautiful.
It's really cool, and then the ocean here. So, all right. Well, that's a wrap. 409 episodes. This is just my intro, outro. So I thought I would just get you on here quick, and then see you all on the next show. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, take care.
To get more info about running an international business, please visit our website at www.globalfromasia.com. That's www.globalfromasia.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our iTunes feed. Thanks for tuning in.